everyone, welcome back to the channel again. Hope you've been enjoying the progress on the Escort so far. Today we've got another video on the Escort. I finally got my doors back from the painter. Here they are. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to get them built up, and I've also got a lot of carbon bits to fit. I'm probably going to get my bumpers on, get my dashboard on, and just a general tying up loose ends, getting little bits and bobs done in this video. I'll show you all my carbon bits as I put them on. If you would have watched the recent videos, or my previous videos, you would have seen I've got quite a bit of carbon in the way, which is the seats, the rear firewall which we made, but I'll go over what other bits I've got as we go along. So let's get into it, and I hope you enjoy it. Right, so now we are going to glue my Mk2 splitter on properly. As you can see, it's only on with that screw there, and then there's one behind each arch. So I'm going to use the Worth bonding seal that I used on my wheels, and we're going to stick that on. Instead of screwing it in like they are from factory, I think we're going to use black rivets with a big pan head on them. All gaffer taped on, so we're just going to leave that till probably the end of the day to set. Right, so this first bit of carbon going on is the bumpers. We've got to drill the holes out. Using normal coach bolts, we're going to be using countersunk Allen keys with the little countersunk spacers. And a bit hard to see because it's dark, but that's how they'll look. So that's it mounted on the original side rubber mounts. Normally you'd use the little brackets. Normally you'd use these little brackets and they sit down here, but because it's carbon, obviously it's very light, it's very flexible, as you can see. What we're going to do is we're still going to use these brackets, but as you can see here, these are originally where the number plate bulbs will come out, but I'm not running the originals. I'm just going to put LED ones in the actual plate. We're going to use these up under there, bring it in, and then try and sit it straight. As you can see, the amount of flexing it there is ridiculous. This is test fitted, that's how it's going to look. We will be painting these black, but we're going to drill the holes in the bumper now, see how it looks. So that's them done. Look pretty sweet. I've only got stainless ones, so I'm just going to paint these satin black. Okay, so while we're waiting for some of the bolts to dry, because I ran out of black bolts, we had to paint them. We're going to fit the front carbon bumpers. Same again, I need to drill the holes out, but I'm not going to bother recording it this time. I'll just show you us fitting them. Didn't record this, but if you've seen these before, they've got like a little triangle here, which means when I mounted them to the bumper, there was a really big gap like this, but now we've cut them up and I flipped them upside down, and they should sit nice and flush and compact straight up in there. Bumper iron bolted on, and then we're going to get the bumpers on. And that's one bumper on, so we're going to get the other one on. And that's the other one on. I've actually got the wrong bolt in this one because I need to order a couple more, a bit short. But they're pretty straight. This one needs adjusting a little bit, but I'll get around to that. That's the rear one on properly as well. As you see, I just painted these stainless ones that we had. Mr. Pink for them, so I didn't have to order them because he had them in his garage, but I will order him some. It doesn't sit dead straight, it's very hard to get straight. I've been messing around with the front and the back for probably like an hour trying to get them as straight as possible. Where they're carbon, they just flex so much, so I'm sure they're just going to flex going down the road anyway, but I will spend a little bit more time off camera trying to get them a bit straighter. On to the next bit. I just tried my throttle cable and it doesn't fit, so I've got to order a longer one. You'll probably see that in another episode, or possibly this one. The next thing I've got to do is fit my cowling and column, bolt my dash in properly, bolt my dash top in properly. But first of all, before that, what I've done here is I've got a little USB port where the choke used to be. Obviously, I'm not running a choke. I just drilled this out. Got a little lock nut on the back of it. Wiring is already there. Wired by Wilson left it there for me just to literally plug in, so that's all good. Another thing to note is I had to trim my steering column because the choke would normally be sitting out around here. And obviously the choke's a lot smaller than that USB port, so I just chopped it off. But I'm going to crack on and get these in. So as you would have seen in the previous episode, I actually started tidying up all the wiring underneath the dash. The other side was like where the clocks were, or my AIM digital dash. I haven't started that yet, but I'm going to crack on it now. There's only a little bit to do. It basically just needs tidying up and cable tying back, as there's a lot of excess wire, but I don't want to shorten it. I rested my carbon dash top in place. I'm really happy with that. Nice and lightweight. I mean, the standard one's not too heavy anyway. It looks like my retro start sticker might have to be peeled off because it's a little bit high, but I've got loads of them, so I'll sort them out. If you do want any, or you want to check out any of the merchandise like what I'm wearing now, then check out the website, which is www.retrostance.co.uk. Yeah, like I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all that tidied up. I'm going to put the rack in, so I'm going to put the steering column in. I'm going to tighten all that up, get it all in, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like after. So that's the dashboard fully bolted down. It's just 4 M6 nuts, and I've got nylocks on them with washers, same as a normal dash. So before actually putting my AIM dash in, I've put my heaters in, because obviously I've got the small little Demon Tweaks heater down there. I think it's going to be a really tight fit with wiring behind, but I did test fit it before and it sort of worked. I'm hoping the heat doesn't affect the dash. Obviously if it does at a later date, I'll have to keep an eye on it and I'll have to change it. Right, so I've got my dash in. I actually drill the holes a little bit lower in this because of the carbon. It's not the best fit, but for carbon versus original, or meshed with original, it doesn't sit too bad. I've also tucked all the wiring under here. This is for my USB port. This wire's from alternator. I have got a proper light coming, similar to these, which is possibly going to go in here because obviously I'm not using these heater vents. Heater all tucked up. This is one of the original vents. This is just a 50mm bit of length that I've got, and it's going up there, all hidden as best as I can. Obviously I've got no center console or anything, so that's as tight as I can do it. Now I'm going to get my steering column in, and I'm going to lower it a little bit because I like the steering wheel closer to me. Little grommet. These are steering UJ. So we'll get all that in because I'm pretty sure I don't need to touch any more interior stuff after this. That's the column back in. I've took the barrel off because I'm not using the key. As I said earlier, I had to trim here. So I'm going to get my cowling on, which I'm probably going to have to space down because I've also dropped it here about 20mm. I think it gives a nicer driving position when the steering wheel's a bit lower down. Cowling on. Not going to put the steering wheel on yet until I fit my carbon floors, then I'll get everything else in. All the door bits on the floor. We've got new weather strips. Julian's painted the mirrors, the handles, a few new bits, a few old bits. It's a bit of a puzzle. We're going to have a look at it and then we'll come back to it. Now it works out how to do the first door, I can show you how to do the second door without me struggling. Here's the door. I've already got the rods on. Well, my dad already got the rods on. I'm not running the rods coming up here because down here, there's yaw locks that will be going into the door, so I'm not going to be bothered using the normal lock on the actual handle. The new weather strips that come from East Kent Trims. This is the door felt that come from East Kent Trims as well as some new quarter light rubbers. So that's a mirror on, and now I'm going to move on to the windows. Put the plastic window in the quarter light. That's the way we done it on the other one. This is the first thing to do. That's the rubber on. Now we've got to fit the divider bar, and then we can work out where to cut the felt. That window in, that's the support bar temporarily in, and then we're going to use the new felt, put it in, cut it, and get it nice and tight. So that's all the new door felt in. And now next is the window. Now I'm just going to get the door felts in, got to trim them a little bit as they give you quite a bit of excess. So that's the passenger door finished as well now. I'm not going to hang on right now because it's a little bit awkward to work with the doors on, as you can see. But what I am going to do, while the doors are still off, finish the last few bits inside, which the next thing is my carbon floor pans. So this is the driver's side, that's the passenger side. It's a mess down here, but I'm going to clean it out just before I bolt these down, but these will sit here. What I've got to do is I've got to drill them out, drill through the floor, and I'm just going to bolt them literally straight through. And that's them all bolted in. I've used the countersunk Allen keys with the spread load washer, same as I would here. But yeah, pretty happy with them. Hopefully they don't crack when people get in and out. And this is what it looks like with the seat rested in place. This is probably a little bit too far forward for me, but I've literally just lent it in. But I think all the carbon goes pretty well together. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Right, so the first thing I've done with these is I've put some thin double-sided sticky tape right around the edge. The reason for this is because, as you'll see here, it dips. I'm going to stick it to this, and because someone's already put holes in it before, it's going to make it a little bit awkward. But what I'm going to do is I'm only going to self-tap it, so I'm only going to rivet it on the raised bits. Yep, so that's the first one done. Now I'm basically just going to repeat on the passenger side. That's the other one done. Like I said, just little black pop rivets, nice and stealth. Now I'm going to move on to the daunting task of doing the front, which is going to be a bit harder. They'll probably be easier to rivet in on the floor, but I'm not looking forward to cutting out these handles. Right, so the way I'm going to do these front ones is I'm going to use my dad's RS2000 ones to template off. I've already checked, and the carbon door card is slightly shorter than the normal door card, but the normal door card sits flush right on the bottom, and so does my carbon one. So I'm going to pop that speaker out, I'm going to lay that one on top of this one, and I'm going to mark out where I'm going to cut. Pretty sure that's where it's going to be. I'm going to just mark out, so I'm going to mark out where the grab handle goes. You can faintly see my marking here. And now I'm just going to drill out the corners. As you've just seen, that's the first 4 in. Obviously I've got to put this handle in still. I'll do this in a minute. I'm probably going to put another 2 up here, probably 3 or 4 along here, 2 down here, 3 or 4 down here. Much point me showing you that, I'll just show you when they're finished. Right, so that is both doors done, completely finished. As you can see from here. The only thing I am missing is the yaw locks, and I'm waiting for someone to order. But that's not going to stop us from actually getting the doors on. I've ordered some door seals. I'm waiting for them to come on the weekend, and then I'm going to get them in. I bought the slim fit ones off East Kent Trims. I think they were either 55 or 60 quid, but they're meant to be a lot better. So I've grabbed them, going to get them on, get the doors on. As I said in the last clip, the doors are going to be hung on the weekend. It's Wednesday, right? Behind the grille, drill a little hole in my carbon with a grommet and bring it out here. Behind the grille, drill a little hole in my carbon with a grommet and bring it out here. Right now I've not got the seals yet, so I'm not going to bother. What I'm going to do is I'm going to crack on with the throttle cable. Down here with the cable, sorry, with the linkage. In a guard track pedal box, the pedals are strengthened but they're a little bit weird. I don't really want to bring it out of the bulkhead, so what I am probably going to do is bring it out of this inner wing, all under the inner wing. Behind the grille, drill a little hole in my carbon with a grommet and bring it out here. For this is I'm trying to keep the bay looking as clean as possible, and it'll be one of them things where you've really got to look where it comes from to actually see it, which I think is quite cool. I've ordered 3.5 meters of cable from Car Builder Solutions. Hopefully that's enough. I think I measured it to be 3 meters. I just over ordered to be safe, but I'm gonna route it all round off camera. And then I'm going to come back when I'm actually making some progress on it. We've got a guard track pedal, which makes it a little bit awkward because they're strengthened with this triangle. Normally, you'd use like a little block like this and it would go on the end. But with the position of the pedal, obviously it's not in here, it brings a block out up here and it makes it really awkward to fit. What I'm going to do is actually drill the back of the pedal out and bring the cable through with a nipple on the end of it, which you'll see in a minute. Julian's just filed this down, and then we're going to put a pilot through it and then probably a 5mm drill bit. So that's it drilled out. It was 2mm and we've got the nipple back on. I'm going to get it back in the car and then work out whereabouts it's going to come out of the bulkhead. Right, so now the pedal's back in, we have drilled a very small, it's hard to see, 3.5mm hole here, which the cable has gone through and it's come out in the inner wing. What we've done is we've come out up here and then we're going to run through the inside of the inner wing behind the shock and then through the front panel and keep it all hidden. That's that hole done. Now we've got to drill one up here, but what I'm probably going to do is go around the front. I've got the grill off, a little bit easier to access. That hole drilled, a bit hard to see, but you see where the cable's coming from. I'm going to go straight here, cable tight up here, bring it straight through the carbon, straight into the linkage. So that hole drilled out. Got the cable on. Now what we're going to do is drill all these little holes open so we can get a little grommet in, one of these little grommets, which should hold the cable in the position that it needs to be held in. Cable back through, we put a grommet in there, a grommet in there, 2 P-clips here to hold it in, and a grommet here. So I've been messing around with it for a little bit and I've had a bit of ag with it. I got it all routed out, I put all my little grommets in. As you can see down here, very hard to see, but all the cables on, it's all adjusted in the right position, but originally I was pressing the pedal and it wasn't returning. The springs on the Genvis are good, but I've done a little bit of research and one of my mates, Ben Stanzo, reckons it's because the cable's too long. The cable's about 3 to 3.5 meters. So what I've done is I've just put a little spring onto the pedal just to make it return properly. This is the spring. As you see, nice return. We are actually touching up here, but I'm going to put a little rubber stop in there so it doesn't keep smashing it. But I'm going to put all my grill back on and everything off camera, and then we'll move on to the next bit. Right, so on to the next thing. Obviously behind me, as you can see, I took the doors back off. Obviously it was easier to work on everything, and I didn't have my door seals. I bought door seals like probably 8 months ago. I went to put them on and they were like 6 to 8 inches too short. It was the slim fit ones, and I'm guessing the bloke that sold me them has accidentally got mixed up in giving me 4-door ones, because obviously they're a lot shorter. Anyway, I've just bought some new ones just to get out of the way, and I've got them from East Kent Trims, and they're the slimline ones, which are meant to be a lot better for closing the door so you haven't got to slam them. Here they are. I'm going to get them on. You would have just seen that it was a little bit long, so we've gone from too short to too long, but too long is better because we can trim it. You just lined it up, tuned it with my hacksaw because I didn't want to get the grinder out, and that's that door seal done. Now I'm going to crack on with the other side and we will possibly hang the doors and line them up. Now the door seals are on, before I put the doors on I'm going to put the window in, so that's a little bit easier. Again from East Kent Trims, just got an RS rubber, new retro stance sticker, and I'm going to get it in. And that's the screen in. We'll get the camera in here, back here. So what I've done, I've just put a little bit of rubber on it. Now, push the pedal, it's nice, and I am also going to put a little stop down there so I don't overextend the cable and snap the cable. Just waiting for some little rubber boots to come through the post. Obviously you've seen me do the door seals. I've also got to do my boot seal, again from East Kent Trim Supplies. Same as the doors, I'm pretty sure. They just lip in, just tap it on. Boot's a little bit of a mess, but I might as well get it on, as I'm sure in a few days I'm going to have my boot and bonnet back, so obviously I'll be ready to put it straight back on if I can just get the seal on there. Right, you would have seen me put them carbon floors in, but what I didn't show was there's actually a gap underneath, so when you put a little bit of pressure on them, they flex and they sound like they're going to crack, which is obviously no good. We've got like this sound deadening stuff laying around. What I'm probably going to do is double that up underneath it. Double it up underneath it just to try and give it like a bit of cushion, so when you stand on it, it doesn't crack. With some of them foam mats in or under. I'm going to try to show you. I can basically put my full body weight on it now, don't make no noise. I am literally standing on that. So yeah, not going to crack. Going to crack on and do the other side. So on to the next. We're going to be fitting the bonnet and the boot, as you can see here. I've got my bonnet back. I've got the triangle vents cut in it. I might put a bit of mesh behind this at a later date. The reason I've got these is, for one, I just like them. Obviously they help a little bit of ventilation, and back in the 90s when it was featured in Classic Ford, that it had the vents here and it had the vents up here. I don't really want them up there, I just like them here. But if I show you under the bonnet, you'll see that the car's hinges have been cut out, and this has always been on a pin bonnet. That's the reason for me using a fiberglass bonnet as well, because if the bonnet's coming off, I've got to lift the whole thing off, and obviously it's lighter as well, so it's easier. As you can see, no hinges. I'm quite lucky where the holes have already been drilled out for the pins, and I've had little brackets welded in the back there. and we've also got my boot here. Need to put my little Escort badge back on here, and obviously my Mexico stickers are going to be on it. But I had the boot lock taken out, as again I'm pinned here and here, same on the other side. Again, it was pinned way before I got it, back in the 90s or whatever, so I might as well keep it on pins. And I've got the alley fuel tank, and they're a little bit awkward to get fuel in with a normal boot. When they hinge up, they sort of just get in the way. The easiest way for me to work out where the pins go on this boot is literally going to be laying in there with a pen, and I'm just going to poke it through here, and the other side, and I'm just going to get someone to lay the boot on top. That's the easiest way. I haven't got to mess around measuring, and I'm pretty sure I can get it in the right spot then.
House in there. Down there. You look like a little Escort smile. Down there. Put off for that.
I got a day off. That's all 4 of the holes drilled out. Oh, goes through. So I'm going to put the pins in the boot and see if it fits. Right, so that's the boot rested in position. Ended up opening these holes up a little bit more. These probably have to wind in a little bit more, but we're going to do the pins one at a time. Start with this corner, that corner, that corner, that corner. That's the boot done. It's all levelish. Just got to tighten up all the pins. That's going to be the end of this video. I was hoping to also get my bonnet on. You see my Mk2 behind me, the boots on. You would have just seen them clips. I haven't got the bonnet on in time. I was certain that I had enough bonnet pins, but apparently not. So when I went to fit it, I didn't have enough. I only had 2. There's no point doing it with 2. It's got no hinges at the back when they've been cut. Actually recording this a couple nights before I'm heading up to Motorsport Electronics to get my ECU looked at, get it mapped and get it once overed. Long story short, I got a little misfire. I've been on the phone to them. They said bring it up, we'll sort it out, we'll get it on the dyno. Hopefully we'll make some good figures. So in the next video, fingers crossed, if it all goes well, even if it doesn't go well, I'll still upload it. We're going to be on the way up to Motorsport Electronics, which is about 150 miles away. We're going to try and get the car sorted. So as always, I hope you enjoyed watching it. I hope you enjoyed the progress. I'll leave the link to the page, the Instagram, the group, etc. in the description below. And the website is www.richstance.co.uk if you would like to check out the merchandise and support the channel. Thank you for watching.